Good morning, Charter Oak. This is Joe Garcia.
And I'm Rafael Guizar.
Welcome to Archer News
History Edition. Welcome back, Charter Oak.
Just in, our coworker Brett has a report on the little brown man known as Gandhi.
We're heading to you live, Brett.
Thanks, Joe. Well, Gandhi's main goal was to transform the world into a better place. Gandhi once said, "We must be the change we wish to see in the world." By that, Gandhi means that we as people need to change ourselves if we want to change the world. He also said, "I have learned through bitter experience that the one supreme lesson to conserve my anger, and as heat conserved is transmuted into energy, even so our anger controlled can be transmuted into a power which can move the world." Gandhi was great at inspiring people and leading them. Gandhi has inspired others to protest in peace, like Mandela and Martin Luther King. He has transformed the world so much and isn't done yet. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Brett.
And we're heading over to Javier with how the Roman Empire transformed the world.
Thanks, Rob, for calling over to me and my colleague Joe over here. So I'm here to talk to you about how the Romans transformed our world and society today. One way they changed the world was by architecture. I mean, look, for example, the Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building. Without them, we would have never had this today. Another way was the Romans changed government forever by forming a republic. And for one, the republic is used worldwide. And also, the Romans used authority to control their people. Now it's transformed from many other methods of governing people, such as communism and democracies today. Lastly, the Romans transformed war into a tactic. Using various formations and revolving their lifestyle around their soldiers, they trained their soldiers at a very young age, and in a way it's transformed into something similar like a boot camp. The most important object the Romans used was their weapons. They used iron ore to make their spears, swords, and shield, which is the strongest in all the land, and over time it has transformed the world into an envious one. The one in which all they wanted was the best weapons. Back to you, Ruffino.
Thanks, Javier.
And now, we're heading over to Ralph on the report on the scientific revolution. Now.
Thanks, Joe. It's the 400th anniversary of the scientific revolution, a period when previous beliefs were transformed into more rational beliefs backed by science. For example, people believed the Earth was the center of the universe until Copernicus arrived and introduced his hypothesis that the Earth revolved around the sun. From then on, their old theory slowly transformed into the modern theory of heliocentrism that we use today. Besides the transformation of theories about Earth, the scientific field experienced a plethora of transformations also. Before Francis Bacon and René Descartes, theories and ideas were based off tradition and unproven facts. But with the duo's work, the old tradition was molded into a new tradition known as the scientific method, a way of proving theories with evidence. Along with the science, politics were transformed as well. An English philosopher by the name of John Locke introduced the idea of natural rights, the belief that all humans had the right of life, liberty, and property. With this groundbreaking ideology introduced, it immediately transformed people's mindsets and it inspired new ways of government. For example, the United States used natural rights to justify its independence from Britain in the 1700s. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Ralph.
And we're heading over live to Javier, who just put a special report on religion.
Thanks, Ralph, for bringing it into me and my colleague Joe. Another way this world has been transformed was through religion. Religion has transformed the world into a very interesting place. First is the way that people live off their lives. There's significant days in which people spend their day at a church or a temple or a mosque. People take days off to spend days with their families and to increase their faith. Millions of mosques, temples, and churches have been built, youth groups have been made, and marriages have been locked through the church. That's how important it is for some people in this world. Back to you, Ralph.
Thanks, Javier. We're heading over to Joe with the question of the day.
Thanks, Ralph. Question of the day is, how did Napoleon transform society? The best answer to this question is, well, he imposed the ideas of enlightenment in the French Revolution on the places that he conquered. He also set up the Napoleonic Code, which gave take power away from the women and gave more freedoms to Jews, and raised nationalism in the places that he conquered. Ralph, it's back to you.
Thanks, Joe.
No problem, buddy.
And for our final segment of the day, we're heading over to Ralph on the Industrial Revolution. Thanks, Ralph. The Industrial Revolution took place during the 18th and 19th centuries. It was a period when rural societies grew into industrialized spectacles. It started with the introduction of the domestic system and soon transformed into the origins of big businesses and industrial capitalism, thus changing the ways of production. Along with changing production methods, the Industrial Revolution altered the appearance and size of cities. Small, tiny villages transformed into booming towns with factories and stores and tons of workers in between it all. However, as the Industrial Revolution rolled on, the working and living conditions of the people worsened over time. This led to alterations in unions. As the people's health grew worse, the more they looked into workers' unions to assist them. This caused the unions to grow and transform into large, influential departments. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Ralph.
And that's the end of our special broadcast of Archie News.
Stay classy, Charter Oak!